Welcome to a special feature with the Lexus LC. You wanted to see this very car, the LC 500, especially with the 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated engine. And we have it today here in our small comparison as the LC Coupé and the new LC Cabriolet. We focus in driving on the new convertible. This is the new car, but in our exterior and interior comparison, we'll show you both vehicles, no matter which are you interested in more. Please join us now. Both exterior, interior, and then the driving experience with this very exquisite but old school engine in Full HD, full screen, and full length. Let's go. In the front, the Lexus LC has this so-called Diabolo front grille, this X shape, really aggressive, and also has this curve right here when you look at it from the side. Both Cabriolet and Coupé are pretty much the same as for the front. LED headlamps, and then they have this very distinctive daytime running light. We also have different colors here for you today, so different color choices, especially for the convertible, with mixed colors also for the roof. So we can always take a look at that when we have the possibility to show you something more. So one of the most aggressive stylings here at the moment in the automotive industry, very distinctive and of course really sporty. The length is at 4.77 meters, 15'6" or 188 inches. This is the convertible here at first. The door handles, they are either aligned like this, and when they're opened, they open like this, so they come towards you a little bit. We also know that from a Jaguar F-Type, for example. You can see here the roof line is really flat, so there's a new folding mechanism for this soft top roof. So it also folds very flat inside the trunk. That's why the trunk difference is not too big between convertible and the Coupé. 4-layer, so it's also silent at high-speed driving, and it opens and closes in about 15 seconds and up to a speed of 50 kilometers an hour or 30 miles an hour. You can see here the main design line is right here above the door handles, and the convertible has the design line which goes up here, and then there's like already the joining together right here, which is a little bit different with the Coupé, but still, due to this very flat roof, the convertible does not look too different to the Coupé. 20-inch wheels would be standard. These here are the optional 21-inch wheels. There's also a performance pack available that also includes a torsion differential in the rear, so sporty driving out of the corners, for example. Adaptive suspension is standard, and in this performance pack, then you also get stiffer rear dampers. And these cars we show you today also include the performance package. Definitely a true design object right here, and classic rear-wheel drive. This is the convertible. We also have the Coupé for you. And we have it right here, and the main design difference is of course here. The roofline is carried out further right here, and also with this chrome contrast. So which one is your design favorite? Cabriolet or the Coupé? Also here with the 21-inch wheels, and in the black color, just a little bit more menacing. But of course, you can pick, basically any color for both versions than here. The Coupé always has, like a little bit more central roofline usual, but I think here with this very vehicle, the differences are not that huge. One big technology difference is that, first of all, here for the Coupé, you also have the hybrid engine that is not available for the Cabriolet. But here also the rear axle steering is available, and this is to me very crucial because rear axle steering always increases the agility and also it narrows the turning circle, for example. So rear axle steering, and this really cool technology detail missing for the convertible, but you do get it for the Coupé. Well, but I mean, if you go for Coupé or convertible, it's all about the decision open or not. So, of course, we want to open the roof. Here we go. And then you can also take a look at this folding mechanism, which is indeed really interesting. There we go. And there you can also see that it's really flat inside that rear. And there we go. And of course, the big advantages of the soft top is that you have not too much weight if you compare it to the hard top, and also you can have more space in the rear. And there's also this classic wind deflector here. The big one is to be recommended. This is an option, by the way, for 800 euros. And now to the rear, where Cabriolet and Coupé look pretty much alike. Here the convertible, and you see the distinctive light signature right here, also really aggressive in the styling once again, but overall still fluent, also with its integrated wing right here. By the way, this car here does not have license plate. You maybe know it from your last GTA job that sometimes you have to change them. Yeah. So, and then in the lower part, job for the Autogefühl fake exhaust police, because this is an exhaust tip which is pure fake. The real exhaust then is on the inside. At least the air goes through, but yeah, come on, give us the real deal, right? The rear of the Coupé doesn't look too different. However, the aerodynamics are a little bit different. So the convertible has a more straight area right here in the length. Therefore, has more downforce here on the rear. So the Coupé has more the fluent design. And therefore, we have this additional wing that can fold out. So guys, this one will be one of the very last moments, probably in our history also, where we show you a 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated engine with around 470 horsepower. A little bit less here in this update or now in the convertible because of a particle filter in the EU. Will be a little bit more than in the US. Acceleration figure to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour is about 5 seconds. The Coupé would be 0.3 seconds faster than in this case, but already, enough power. Not like the most extraordinary acceleration figure because it's not turbocharged, but the naturally aspirated engines have a more, harmonious power output than in this case. And of course, classic concept, all rear-wheel driven. So you can enjoy also the driving part for today with the sound, of course, and also with this very classic engine concept. The wheels are now bigger in the rear than they are in the... Wait a minute, wrong car. Starting with the Coupé, this is the car key, looks the same. Then the door handles like this, with a nice Lexus badge right here. Door closing sound. Yeah, for cars that have frameless doors, usually not the best. We have rare, I think with the Peugeot 508 it was actually quite nice, but in this case not. Then the inside of the doors here, this is also soft touch. Then here we have microfiber surface, and this is also special than with the Coupé. Here we do also have seats with microfiber on the inside. This is available. This will also be the preferable choice. Stays cooler in summer and also warmer in winter, and also looks a little bit more fancy and gives you more seating comfort. Then you can see here this is a dark style for the interior. There are different colors also available for the interior. Let me test the seat right here. And indeed, it's way softer from the seating area than if you would have the animal skin surface. And, they hold you really tight. It doesn't feel like it would be most suitable for tall people as, for the flexibility you have, because it's really, really tight right here. Electronic controls here in the lower part, like this. And, it's not a small vehicle, but you don't have too much space right here. Steering wheel goes up and down, also in and out. This is actually a good process. And headroom wise, here in the Coupé, comes really close already with 1.86 m or 6'1", but does work, of course. But again, it's not a small vehicle, but you feel rather a little bit cramped here in the interior already. And then here the rear of the Coupé. Yeah, it's hard to get in and out, but really, you cannot sit there as an adult. You can use the ISOFIX and you have a little bit more space than here in the Coupé, definitely. But it doesn't make sense that I get in here, because as soon as you would put the seat backward again with this function, you see there is no legroom left at all. Same key here for the convertible. You can see it, of course, with a different color. And also door handles are the same. Here also with a dark interior, but we'll soon show you also a bright interior. Then in this case, then here also with a different surface on the inside. But this is here like, sound. So this is here also like a soft touch area, but it would be nicer in microfiber, definitely. Then here the interior with the steering wheel once again, also with the, with the column that you can put in and out and up and down. We need some ignition for that. There we go. So here you can see also this function. When you put on the ignition, seat goes forward, steering wheel comes down, and there you can change it right here. Shifting pedals here behind the steering wheel. They are connected to the steering wheel, so they move alongside with that. And here for the convertible, sadly, only animal skin are available as for the seating surfaces. So that's definitely a hit and miss. But the interesting thing is, here for the rear seats, this is the so-called Ecolux material. So that's a leatherette. So this is then animal-free. It also feels really high quality and very soft. So they can already do it. They just do not do it yet for the front seats. So it is available already. But you can see this is live transition, where half of the car is already a sustainable material and half not. Thankfully, Lexus also put a car here which is exactly the, fitting design styling to my outfit. Yeah, that's one of my hobbies. Everyone needs some hobbies, right? So, and really beautiful that we also have a beige soft top here, especially to the dark blue color. I think a beautiful combination. Of course, you've seen it. You can also just get it in the black. And here with this vehicle here, there's also the bright interior styling. Sadly, again, not available with all in Ecolux yet, but this will definitely be the future. But the styling, the color itself is really, really cool. It's screaming out. Maybe it's too much for you. Tell me in the comments. Or would it be exactly your style? So, and now let's get inside. See about the headroom difference right here. And when I put the seat here all the way down, once again, with 1m86 or 6'1", yeah, it's almost the same that you have in the Coupé here. So it does fit for tall adults, but it doesn't leave, much space right here. Good thing, of course, when we want to show you the interior of a convertible, that we can always put the roof down. And then we have a little bit more access here to the rest of the interior, which we're going to show you right now. Once more with the roof opening process right here. So there you can also see that the small plastic layer there is fixed. And then the additional wind deflector here, this is then, the bigger one. You can put it down a little bit, but doesn't make sense. Usually just leave it up like this, and the roof also opens and closes above it. No problem. One feature you get with the touring package, by the way, is here this neck heater. So there can be some warm air outside there. And there's also a special AC program here in the convertible, which actually combines the neck heating and the other heating features of this vehicle. Interior overview here with the horizontal stress. You can maybe even serve drinks or food here, but no, in my vehicles, no food and no drinks, and not in my test vehicles either. Just water is allowed.
Thomas,
and what?
This morning I had an energy drink in your...
Oh yeah, Michel had an energy drink. There was one exception, but I told him to be very careful with that. Well, okay. Then here you can choose the driving modes, like sports driving mode or more comfy driving modes for the adaptive suspension. Here always go back to the normal mode. Again, the shifting pedals here are at the steering wheel, and there are digital instruments, so more details to that. Right side here for the cruise control of the steering wheel, left side to control something then from the instruments right here. This is possible, and also for the sound control, soon more to the sound system definitely. We can also choose the sound here. This is a nice controller still, manual volume controller. Yeah, this is like a sanitizing hand fluid. Strange times where I don't have water in the car, but sanitizers, yeah. Welcome to Corona times. Then here we have the climate unit still with clicking sound, and it's actually quite decent and good that we still can pick that one manual. CD changer is possible right here. Shifting lever goes a little bit strange because like this drive mode, like forward, reverse, so it's not the most easy solution. There's no touchscreen here. You have this central pad, and this is like, a little bit like a magnetizing function in the screen. Typical, also we know that from Lexus, and some hotkeys right here. It's really complicated in the overall use. And then we can flip up this small part here for the convertible roof. And this is also a little bit complicated right here to put this one back first, and then you can open this, and there we have two USB-A chargers for the Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection, which is standard. And there we go with the digital instruments. You can't adjust too much in there, just a little bit on the left side, predominantly, for example, for driving information. The middle part then with the big RPM meter and the digital speed. You can also get a head-up display. There you can see the current speed, for example, and also some RPM visualizations. Always nice to have directly projected into the windscreen. 10.3-inch screen, as I said, no touch. Mark 11 sound system here, option. And there we also have a nice surround sound. Wow, cool. Yeah. Open top at the moment, but also works very well with the open top. That's really nice. The Apple CarPlay integration is actually quite cool, but it's really unusual to control it not via touch. And wow, it's really tough. This map is quite old school, and you know how you can use this map inside from this central touch pad. Wow, it's really a pain in the automotive world to use this infotainment system. Yeah, that's about it. Also the whole menu structure here, this is quite okay still, but most of the time I guess you would use then the CarPlay and the Android Auto for that. Climate here, you can also have some more options right here, but usually you would use then the manual climate unit down there. I showed it to you. Yeah, that's about it. And one of the weaknesses of this car, definitely. Now to the trunk comparison, this here being the Coupé. Here we go. Well, for a car in general, really limited already. So when you put a backpack inside here, height-wise, you can see this is already limited. Let's just test that. Yeah, I have to squeeze it a little bit, but then it does actually work. And you open it from the inside of the car, or here then with the key. So, yeah, see, it was squished a little bit, and you have a little bit more flexibility here in the Coupé. The length here of the trunk is 95 centimeters, and the width right here, the deeper part, is about 80 centimeters. Just here in the front, it is actually like, yeah, it's like 1.20 meters. And below this cover, by the way, you'll find the battery, which is placed in the rear for weight reasons. And now to the convertible, 150 liters is left, and you can see the backpack squished a little bit, still works height-wise, but just the length, that's the one that you lose. You remember 95 centimeters with the Coupé, and here a little bit less than 70 centimeters with the convertible. But the width here, you know, this is more or less the same. So yeah, that's about, I can show you right here. So more than 1.20 meters right here, and then a little bit less right here. This is more than, you know, the 80 centimeters, but the length difference is really substantial. But of course, a cabin trolley or so, you can also just lay flat down in here. But it's clear that the LC is not a king of trunk. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Lexus LC 500, and we can put it in sports mode. A little bit wet road today, but still some acceleration for you here. Wow, that's 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Yeah, I was like, the rear axle did react, you know, so was some slip in the sports mode. Here, pressing that one goes to the normal mode, then the ESC, the electronic stability control, also rules that down a little bit more. But even though in the sports mode, it was, you know, not too aggressive. And the cool thing is, the acceleration here of this naturally aspirated engine is always more harmonious than this very explosive turbo acceleration. So that's also what I like about the naturally aspirated engines, that it's just a little bit more, yeah, somewhat more relaxing to drive, and also a very sovereign drive, as I always call it, because you have a lot of horsepower, have a lot of displacement, you don't need to use it, and again, it doesn't feel that explosive. It feels powerful, but not that extreme, and that's what I like about these power curves. The adaptive suspension, which is built in here, I mean, when you have the 21-inch wheels, then you do feel these uneven road parts, definitely. So if you want it more comfortable, then stick with the 20-inch wheels. Adaptive suspension here, in this case with the performance pack, with the stiffer dampers in the rear, and you do feel it in these bumps here, so I cannot exactly recommend the stiffer rear suspension there. Though it really depends on, this is a sporty setup for this vehicle, 21-inch wheels with the with this performance package with the stiffer rear axle, but then the normal 20-inch with a normal rear axle would be more comfortable depending on what you like. This car is quite heavy, about 2 tons, and it's also not that short. However, as I said earlier, you feel that you would be in a smaller car. As for the interior space you have, that's about this vehicle. So, and also the seating position is not the most comfortable one. So to me, it is really about being like a design object on the interior. It's really the thing, you know. So driving-wise, on the one hand, it feels heavy like a big vehicle. On the other hand, it feels small from the seating position. You know, that's a pretty funny or unique thing about this vehicle. Here with the bright interior, it's of course a very special feeling also when driving it. Picking the driving modes would have been a little bit more comfortable when it would be on the steering wheel, but reaching that out to here, sometimes a little bit strange. But at least, you know, when you reach it here, it's somewhat straightforward because you know what you're doing, like putting it to the, you know, to this part here for the comfort side, and also suspension is a little bit more comfortable. The RPMs also react accordingly, and the shifting of the automatic transmission. 10-speed automatic gearbox here, by the way. It's also quite peculiar. In the sports mode, then there's also a sports plus mode, which we don't use today. Then the RPM also look different, a little bit sportier, but that's too dangerous then with the slippery road. Here again, in the comfort mode, suspension is a little bit more forgiving. You can always use the shifting pedals and shift down yourself. Then you also have control about shifting and so on, and can give it a little more punch. In the sports mode, then you also have more sound feedback. And talking about sound feedback, the engine is very well insulated from the cabin. That's why, although there is a 5-liter V8, there is a sound actuator here which records the engine sound and plays it back here in the inside cabin. Yeah, modern times that is. And also there is active noise cancellation, so like rolling and road noises are even out actively, not only passively by dampening. And this active noise cancellation you somewhat hear because, you know, on your ears it can sound a little bit like DEF-alike in these ANC cars, because it's like a little unnatural feeling. It is very silent, has a good effect, but it doesn't feel the most natural as for the sound dampening. Do you hear that? You have headphones on, right? Yeah.
And also
noise
cancelling.
Yeah. Michel has headphones with noise cancelling. Yeah. So can we ask him? But we've been discussing that quite a lot of times, and we feel that passive noise dampening on cars is better. It's more, you know, it's more work. Active noise cancelling does work very well, but it always leaves like kind of an unnatural feeling. However, since this one here is like this coupé or convertible concept, it's not the most closed car, so to speak, so also not too much dampening than as for the side windows, and therefore the effect is not too strong, so I don't feel that it would be the most unnatural feeling. I think in this car it's definitely okay. The stiffer rear axle, sometimes when we go over these bumps you feel that's really stiff, so I can really not recommend that. It's a good car to cruise around. I think about, you know, driving maybe Mulholland Drive with that one here in LA, that would be a suitable thing. Sound-wise, when we're going over these bumps, we sometimes feel like rattling noises from the inside of the cabin right here. Or maybe they want to cross the road here. The dog? No, they don't. No. Always take care of kids and animals, of course. Going left, right here.
Right.
Right, yeah. Right is the other left, right. That was right, yeah. Sorry, I never missed that. Happens. So now here in the city, again, we put it to the normal mode, that I want to have more soft suspension. But I would have expected a little bit more from this adaptive suspension. That's maybe a little bit more forgiving in general. But again, it might be the setup here with the 20-inch wheels and the stiffer rear axle, definitely. Overview is, yeah, very limited here. To the rear, I can hardly see anything. To the sides is of course cool that we don't have a B-pillar, so you can see that to the sides. To the front, also somewhat limited. And in general, not the best overview in this car at all. Yeah, cancel the traffic announcement. I did put cancel, right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I did, but it didn't really react. So infotainment system also sometimes while driving drives you nuts. So especially like controlling it while driving. So that would have been better if they have either like a normal control knob or then a touchscreen. But this, you know, solution in between, I think not really that suitable. Here also pretty rough when going over some bumps. You know, the car, it looks menacing, definitely from the exterior, like these design features. But then again, you would expect that it's more like a elegant, comfortable ride, you know. Now I put it back to the sports mode again, because we can get out from these houses. We accelerate it out. Don't want to annoy anyone. So here in this beautiful vineyard. So I hope you also enjoy our tour visually, even though it's not the best weather here. And everything we tell you, of course, basically counts for both Coupé and Convertible. Let's hit the throttle once more. Let's go back to about 50 kilometers an hour and push it through. And that's 100 once more. Be a little bit careful, because it's a little bit dirty on the road. But now we have, once again, good grip. And this is now a lot of fun. Wow, that's pretty cool. So these seats, they are pretty tight, yes, but of course when you have tight corners, they also keep you tight. Comfort is again not the best you would expect in a big convertible like that, but it's still quite okay. You do have more comfort, as I said earlier, on the seats with the microfiber on the inside, which are available at the moment with the Coupé only. I would probably just tell the dealer I pay 120k euros or 100k in dollars. I want the microfiber seats from the Coupé and see what the dealer can do about that. Challenge the factory a little bit. And here now, when you drive 70 kilometers an hour, then it almost feels like you would be standing still. So for a convertible, I think a good noise insulation. And again, the active noise cancellation plays a role with that. Slalom-wise is really good. The steering is really precise. Look at that. So this feels then, you know, smaller than the car actually is. The rear axle steering that is available with the Coupé would do an even better job than in this case. Then the car would feel even smaller, or it would fake a shorter wheelbase in this case. What a beautiful road to drive here for you. Once again, sorry for the weather. Can't always have it the best way. At the moment it's not pouring down at all. So that's actually quite okay. Beautiful region here at the River Mosel in Germany. It's also close here where Rally Germany takes place. Beautiful roads, beautiful visuals and so on. I can just recommend to visit this region here from time to time. This is here pure Autogefühl, definitely. And since we're already here with the convertible, it's not pouring down at the moment and we have these beautiful roads. I think the part is missing where we open that thing. Well, and now to open top driving, and I always say as a convertible lover, when it's raining and you're getting wet, you're just not driving fast enough. Yeah, I mean, a certain amount of rain you can literally like push away with your front windscreen. Just when it gets too heavy, then at some point it gets too heavy. But we're still, yeah, we're all living on the edge, right? So, work hard, play hard with the Lexus LC 500 convertible, and we have a beautiful serpentine road here ahead of us. And of course in the convertible we can hear more of that sound. But I told you, also comes from the sound actuator. Even though in the convertible we hear a little bit more from the exhaust, of course. If we are really gentle with the throttle, we can also put it in the sports mode, but again, it's a rear wheel-driven car, and the ESC is drawn back in the sports mode a little bit, so really have to be gentle. Don't recommend to do that in the rain, and just do it here. Now for the there was a little bit of rain inside now. Yeah, But that's live, authentic Autogefühl right here. A lot of fun here in these corners. Yeah, I feel a little bit stamping from this rear axle, but again, the V8 naturally aspirated engine gives us a better controlled feeling. So with a turbo here, we would probably have a little bit too much power, too explosive power on the rear axle. But here with the NA V8, it's a little bit better and gives us more a harmonious driving fun here on these exact roads. Small tractors driving here, they are, going across the vineyards then always. Yeah, I think we can do some overtaking right here, right? But I put it in normal mode just to be a little bit safer. There we go. Reducing the speed for the next traffic sign. So definitely a lot of fun here in the Lexus LC convertible. And well, the neck heating is pretty good at the moment. Sometimes I think it's not, the most useful one, because either it's too, it's colder and you wear a big jacket, or it's warmer than you don't need it. But in this case, I just have the pullover on because I don't wear a jacket because of the microphone, that we don't get any scratching noises. And now the neck heating is blowing some warm air. And that's really, it's actually pretty cool. It's not too cold, but very rainy, therefore it might appear a little bit colder. The wind deflector is doing a good job, so we can also drive open now at 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. So that's pretty nice actually. So not too much wind turbulences coming here in the interior. Also you can see it when you look at my hair. So as for the aerodynamics and so on, this is very well done. So I would say you can use it as an all-season convertible. And these convertible rides with the classic engines, that's definitely giving us some car feeling, some Autogefühl. So I hope you really enjoyed our episode here today with us. And now to our conclusion for today with the Lexus LC. We've shown the Coupé and the convertible, and we did have a lot of fun definitely with this very exquisite vehicle, even though the weather didn't play the part today. Yeah, the Lexus agrees definitely. So I hope you enjoyed the small comparison. Here, since the convertible is a little bit newer, more driving focus than this one. But of course, they drive pretty much the same. The only difference is that you can also have the rear axle steering for the Coupé. This will improve the drive even further and also reduce the turning circles, so I can recommend that. Also, another advantage for the Coupé is that you have a little bit longer trunk there, and also that you can get the microfiber inside of the seats for the Coupé. That is, actually three striking advantages for the Coupé. The convertible, of course, that you can drive open top, and astonishingly, even all-season convertible, yeah, you see it, because the aerodynamics is actually really good, as also silent on the interior, even though when the top is down. So it's actually quite cool to drive it open top, really enjoy it, and even Autobahn proof, so you can drive also a little bit faster on the motorway. It is a design object with a striking exterior design, even more beautifully, of course, with the blue beige contrast. On the interior, the user interface is quite complicated. Everything, from cubby holes to the infotainment system, which is really outdated, the control input for that, the visualization. So everything user interface-wise is, really not living up to the price of 100 to 120k dollars or euros. So that needs to be better. Comfort is quite okay, but should also be better for a car of that size, I think. And also for the convertible, animal skin alternatives are also missing then, but they also show that it's possible with designing this Ecolux rear seating area right there. And in general, you don't have basically any room in this car, although it's not a short one. But driving-wise, really fun. Classic V8 5-liter naturally aspirated concept with a harmonious power output. That's actually quite cool. The driving we did today, of course, was more performance-focused. Even though the road was wet, we had to be a little bit more careful then. But if you drive it a little bit calmer, you can also score some about 12 liters from 100 kilometers, which would be like 20 mpg somewhat, depending on, but only if you keep it a little bit calm. Here, like we drove today, there's those serpentine roads, and of course the consumption is higher. or less MPG. I hope you really enjoyed our episode for today. It's always a hassle for us to film in the rain, but it looks so beautiful here on the cars when you have the raindrops right there. So good for you in your living room that you stay warm and safe. I wish you all the best. See you next time.